Hi guys, Dr. Mel. We're busy with organic chemistry. And we've done firstly the origin of organic chemistry. We've done a little bit of the naming and the different formulae that we get. We're now going to go to functional groups, different groups of organic compounds. And we're going to put different attachments to the chain. You'll see just now, this is the first one, and there'll be about 4 lessons. We're going to add different groups to the chains. And then, guys, we need to follow rules because, like in any, where you work in any organization, there's rules. Now, if you work in organic chemistry, you've got to follow the IUPAC rules, which I'll explain to you just now. So let's have a look at the different molecules. Firstly, you'll get just a chain. The chain means the 3 or 4 or 50 or 200 carbons will be aligned in a chain. Now remember, this is 3-dimensional. You can also get one carbon there, another one there, and another one there. It's not like a straight horizontal in a real chain that you get, but it's linked to each other, that one to that one, and then to that one. You can go and have a look on the internet. You'll see very nice 3-dimensional molecules. But you can also have these chains having branches. So I'm going to redraw those 3. And that's the chain. Can you see there? And now I'm going to add, instead of that hydrogen there, I'm going to add another carbon. Now let's just complete this molecule. Then I've got here, I've got hydrogen, hydrogen, hydrogen. There's 1, 2, 3 electrons there. So there's 1 open and available to bind to a hydrogen. I've got another 3 there. But we added this carbon, this one there. And I've got to now complete those bonds as well. Now, can you see the difference between this chain, 1, 2, 3 carbons, 1, 2, 3 carbons, but an additional carbon added there? That we call a branch or a substituent. So let's see what can happen. We can add functional groups. So I've got 1, 2, 3 in a chain. I can have 1, 2, 3 and a substituent there. Or I can even have 2 added. Now you can see these are different molecules. So we can add either a CH3, but I can also add, and have a look at this. I can add a hydrogen and linked to an oxygen. I can also add a halogen, like a chlorine. So there's lots of different configurations that you can add. And we're going to have a look at specific one of them in this lesson. And we're going to do all the others in the lessons to follow. So if I've got methane, now can you recall what methane was in the previous lesson? It's 1 carbon linked to 4 hydrogens. Now if this methane loses the 1 hydrogen, what remains? Think a little bit. Obviously the carbon and 3 of the hydrogens. Can you see there? And I've got this electron vacant. Now, as soon as a methane loses the hydrogen, the methane then becomes a methyl group. Methyl meaning it's stemming from the methane and it can bind. Now, have a look at the previous one we did. Can you see there? I had a methyl. Can you see here? I had 2 methyls. CH3 coming from a CH4. Let's have a look at the ethane. Ethane, can you remember? 1, 2 carbons, 1, 2, 3 hydrogens on the one, another 3 on this one. And can you remember what we did just now? We said the methane loses a hydrogen. So let's say if the ethane loses a hydrogen, can you see what will remain if, for instance, this one is lost? It will be CH3, one there, and this CH2 and a vacant electron. So that will be ethane losing the hydrogen to become ethyl. Can you think what pentyl will be? Think a little bit. Pentyl. Pentyl will thus be pentane, losing a hydrogen to become pentyl. So any alkane losing a hydrogen will become an alkyl. Right, let's have a look. Firstly, we have to name these, and as I said just now, according to rules. Now we've got the IUPAC. The IUPAC is the International Union of Pure and Applied Chemistry. So that's an organization which is international. If you're in Israel, if you're in America, if you're in Europe, if you're in Africa, in Asia, you'll all be doing the international way of naming. They've got rules. It's the pure and applied chemists who form this organization. You apply, you affiliate, and then you follow the rules. Now, we are bound to that. So, the first rule in the IUPAC system is finding the longest chain. Now, let's draw 1, 2, 3, 4. We can draw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Can you see I drew a few examples now? Now, if we want to find the longest chain, we need to see these will be the 4 in that chain. It seems like it's either these 4, but it could also be starting there and going down because it's 3-dimensional, but it still remains 4. Let's see what we have here. By the look of it, we are inclined to think that's the longest chain, but just have a look, it's not. If I started up here, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Can you see that's my longest chain? And that will be the first challenge, identifying the longest chain, which we call the root. Anything that's added to that is the substituent. So you've got to find the longest root. Now let's quickly just practice. If it's got 4 carbons, it's butane. If it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, it remains butane. And if it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, it's hexane. Can you see why is it important to identify the longest chain? Because that will be your name. So you need to identify the longest chain. The second rule, you have to find the suffix. If it's single bonds, like the ones we just drew, can you see there, single bonds? What was the name? Anes, all of them. So that will give you the name. If I had double bonds, let's say for instance, I had that, it would be an ene. And you'll see in our next lesson, we'll actually add a C with an O and an H, and that will become an ol. But I'm not going to concern myself with that now. You've got to be able to see, is it a single or a double bond, ane or ene? Right. So the first rule, identify the longest chain. Second rule, is it an ane or an ene? Third, number the carbons. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. you will have to number them. In the beginning, you'll do it really with a pen, but later on, you'll see you can do it without even writing anything down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it's a single bond, you can already know that it's then a pentane. Now, why is that important? Because you've got to identify the side chain. Now, let's say, for instance, I've got CH3 linked to the second carbon. That would be quite different to the following one. Can you see I've got my 5 there again? But now I've got a CH3 linked there. So what do I have on the screen now? I've got a CH3 on the second carbon, and here I've got a CH3 on the third carbon. Can you see why is it important to number them? So that when I always say you find the address, you want to go and find it, you need to know, is it in house number 2 or is it in house number 3? So you have to know where the substituents are. Will they be on the first, the second, or the 50th carbon? First rule, longest chain. Second one, identify the name. Third one, number the carbons and then identify what's added to the chain. Now let's have a look. I've got a diagram here. Can you remember? This is a structural formula. A structural formula here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 carbons. Now you can see here that the carbons will be the root. You can also see it's single bond. So already you can write down it's an hexane. The A means single bonds, the hex means 6. Now why is this numbered from this side? Can you see that 1 there, that 2 there, that 3 there, that 4 there, 5 and 6. That's the next rule of the IUPAC. You need to identify the smallest number for the substituents. Now these I'm encircling now is added to the hexane. Now first let's name them. If you can remember, that's a methane losing a H, so it's a methyl. This is also a methyl. And this, can you see it's 2 carbons? It's an ethyl. Now let's just do the numbering. If I start at this side, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. If I did it that way, this methyl would have been on the 5th, this methyl would have been on the 3rd, and the ethyl on the 4th. If I follow the route that's on the board, this is on the 2nd, this is on the, let's just go back there, on the 3rd, and this one is on the 4th. So which one is the smaller number? 5 or 2, 4, 3, or 4 and 3. And you can see, if I start from this side here and work that way, this will have the smallest number. So you also always start where you've got the lowest number of substituents. And we'll get to the rest of the naming just now. So that was just the important rule. You find your chain, you identify what's added, and you start on the side where that's got the smallest number. Right, let's see what we can do with this one. I've got the longest chain. Let's do it. 1, 2, 3, 4. Or 1, 2, 3, 4. So it seems like it will be 4. You can do any way, it will be 4. Right, so that was the first rule. The second one, name. Is it single bonds? Yes, it is. It's butane. Is it just a normal butane? No. Let's stick with the, I'm going to take this one out here and just stick with the blue one here. What do we have there? Can you see? I've got that added and this added. Now, interesting, if we started numbering this side, can you see I've got this in carbon 2 and this one on carbon 3, 4, 5. Am I right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So butane is wrong. I'm so glad I picked that up. Let's make it pentane. Pentane. So I've got 5 pentane. Can you see on the second and the third I've got methyl groups. Right. Happy with that? Methyl we've got. Let's see now. I've got to name it. It's a pentane with, on the second and the third, a methyl. I'm going to write it down. It's on the second and on the third, I've got 2 dimethyl, and I'll explain that now, and it's on a pentane chain. I've got 2 and 3 indicating to me where's the methyls. In total, I've got 3, therefore di, and you'll see I'll explain the commas and the dashes just now. But that's one word. Let's see what we have here. Here we've got the condensed way of writing it. 2 and 3 methyl and the pentane. Important, guys, that you start from the side where it's the smallest. Let's say, for instance, I started this side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you see it would have been then 3, 4, and that's larger than the 2 and the 3. Right, let's continue. I'm going to the smallest number now, and we now are going back to a diagram that we've just done. Can you see there I've got the second and the fourth methyls, and here I've got the ethyls. How do we write this down? Important that you know, I first identify my chain, 6-hexane. I then say I've got on the second one a methyl, I've got on the fourth one a methyl, and I've got on the third one an ethyl. Now we've got to name this substance. Let's have a look. If I've got 2 methyls, I'm going to name it dimethyl. Let's say we had 3, then it would have been trimethyl. And if it was 4, and you'll almost never get that, it would have been tetramethyl. So you need to consolidate all the methyls, all the ethyls, whatever you have, and put that di or tri or tetra in front of that. Right, let's see what's the name of this. I'm going to write it down. It is 2.4. Am I correct? 2 and 4. There's 2 methyls. And it is a 3-ethyl hexane. Now the last rule I want to show you in this lesson is the following. You need to, guys, put there a comma between numbers and a dash between a number and a letter. But I'll do that now again. I just want to reiterate. If I've got one substituent, let's say for instance a methyl, I do not name it at all. It's actually mono, but you're not going to name it. But if it's 2, can you remember what we did just now? We said it's di. If it's 3, it's tri. And if it's 4, it's tetra. Now let me show you how this will actually work out when you do the naming. Let's say I've got a carbon with 2 chlorine groups. It's dichloro. If it's got 3 chloros, can you see here what we'll call it? Trichloro. And if it's 4, remember what I said? Tetrachloro. So it's important that you actually put them together as one group. Finally, writing the name. And it's important you lose all your marks if you don't have it correct. Between a number and a number, you always put a comma. 2, 4. Between a letter and a number, it's a dash. So I've got a number there, it's dash, and there's a letter. Now let's just write another one down. Let's say, for instance, 2.3 dimethyl dash 2 dash ethyl hexane. Can you draw that? Can you draw it from the name? Have a look. It's an hexane, so it's 6 carbons. It's got on the second an ethyl. It's got on the second and the third methyl groups. You've got to group them together. Between the letters and the numbers, you've got, can you see there, a dash, and a dash. And between the numbers, I've got a comma. They are very, very strict that you do it the way IUPAC does it. An alkene, can you see there? I've got a double bond. So how do we name that? I have to indicate where's the double bond. So I will now again identify the longest chain. Those bonds will be the smallest part. So you'll start there. So this one will be, let me draw this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It will not be pentane but pentene. Double bond. Where's the double bond? Between the second and the third. So the smallest of these two will get put into the name. So it will be pent dash 2-ene. Because 2 is the smaller one between 2 and 3, it will be 2-ene. And you'll be able to find the double bond if you know that that's the smaller one. Let's see if you can do this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can you see between the second and the third? It will again be pent 2-ene. What's added to that? Can you see here? I've got 2 methyl groups on the fourth one. So it's 4, 4. Remember there's a repetition. Dimethyl, one word, pent 2-ene. Alkynes, 3 bonds, triple. You don't have to know them, but they ask them. So what will happen here? Between the second and the third, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 again. Not pentane, not pentene, but pentine. And where is the triple bond? Between 2 and 3. So I need to put the 2 there because it's the smaller number of the 2 and the 3. And I need to put in the dashes. Then I've got to identify the 2 methyls. So on the fourth one, I've got 2 methyl groups. You have to be able to draw from the name, but you'll also be able to, from a drawing, name them. So you've got to do all of that. Right, let's see. Can you identify the longest chain? And when you've done that, see what's been added, the substituents. Distinguish the different substituents. For now, we did, for instance, the methyl or even the ethyl. And you'll be able to do the others later on when we've done them. You've got to be able to apply IUPAC, not your own John rule or Mary's rules, IUPAC rules. You've got to be able to see if it's a single, a triple, and a double bond. And then, guys, adding the alkyl group and naming the compound, commas, dashes, everything. Remember, in most textbooks you'll find it. In Siyavula, which is a free book on the internet, you can find questions. Science Clinic, free. Anybody can go and have a look at it. And go on to past papers. In all the past papers, you'll see the first question is usually organic naming. And try and do them. I hope you enjoy and get good marks in organic chemistry. Bye.